Welcome back to Angular 2 Essential Training. In this video, we're going to go through the process of creating a new nested component to act as a directive, as well as how to use template URL and styles within our component. So let's start out by going into our app folder and create a new folder called Welcome. Inside this Welcome folder, I'm going to add two new files. The first one is called welcome.component.ts. And the second is called welcome.component.html. I'm also going to add in an assets folder that contains a logo.jpg file inside of an images folder. And these files can be found within your resources files. Next, I'll open up the welcome HTML file and then paste in some HTML, which can also be found in your resources files. Now let's open up our component file. I'll first create a class named welcome component and add in a single property named page title with a type of string as well as a default value of welcome. Next, I'll create my component decorator. We'll include our metadata here, first adding in a selector with the value of bs-welcome. And now I'm going to add in a template URL setting and define it as the location of our welcome.component HTML file. This HTML file will now be associated to only this component. Notice that the key template URL is different from just that of template, which we defined in our app component file. When assigning a template URL, there's one more step that we need to take, and that is to set up a module ID of module.id. And this step is only needed when we're using system.js as our module loader. And also, we'll make sure to import our component from Angular Core. So let's go back now and open up our welcome component HTML file. In this file, we can see that there is some bootstrap styling defining a panel area along with an instance of the property binding for page title. So now that we've set up our welcome component, let's add this as a directive inside of our app component. So there's two steps involved in actually doing this. The first is we need to add our welcome component to the declarations array inside of our app module file. And we need to make sure that we import it within our file. And now we can add our welcome component selector inside of the template area of our app component. So we'll save all that and restart our application. And now you can see that our welcome component is being displayed inside of our app component within our application. So we'll cover just one more aspect of components here, and that is how to add styling to our specific component. We're able to isolate style selectors to individual components one of two ways, either by defining styles within our decorator like this, and adding our selectors inside of an array. And we need to add quotation marks here, and then the syntax in the same way that we do within a CSS file. I'll flip over to my welcome HTML file and add a new class called byline. So we'll save this page, reload our app, and now you can see that our text gets changed to the color green. You won't usually see styles defined in line within our component like this though. The much more common way of declaring styles is in its own CSS file. So what we can do is add a new CSS file within our welcome file, and we'll call it welcome.component.css. And then inside of our component, we'll change the styles to style URLs, and then we'll reference our new style sheet. And finally, we'll add our style definition to our style sheet. And now we can save these files, reload our application, and you can see that our app hasn't changed and we're now referencing our new CSS file.